What's going on, guys? This is part 2 of the engine build series. I've got my piston rings here, my file, my piston. I got my ring file set up in the vise. So with that, guys, I'm going to show you how I go about doing this, and you can do it yourself. So with that, let's get started. So here it is, guys. I'm going to start with the number 2 piston ring. Today we are using Hastings piston rings. It's what the machine shop recommended. They've done a lot of builds. I've done some reviews. They seem to be pretty good rings, and it's actually pretty funny. My 6-liter sitting over there that has Wiseco pistons, I ordered Wiseco rings, and it actually came in Hastings bags. So I'm assuming they make the rings for them. But with that, here's how I go about doing it. I don't have a piston ring squaring tool for this small of an engine for a 5.3. I have it for a 6-liter or a 400 small block, but I don't have one for this. So the way we're going to go about that today is I'm going to shove it. We're going to start with number 1 cylinder always, or at least that's how I do it. So I'm starting with the number 2 ring because it has to go on first before we can get the number 1 ring on. I'm going to take my piston with the ring in there, just shove it down to right to the top of the skirt, and then just stop, pull it back out. We're going to be file fitting these rings to 22 thousandths, I think. Yeah, I think so. But 22 on a filler gauge. And I've got this long filler gauge from Napa just because it's easier to get down in the cylinders and mess with. But basically the gap between the ring that's left, we're going to measure it and see what it's at, and then take it to my file fitting, or my ring file, and we are going to file the ring until it is exactly 22 what I want. So with that, we are going to check it, and we're not even close. So from there, what we do, we yank it out. I'm going to grab this camera here. I'm going to show you. So this is a file tool. What I do is I just make it look as square as possible. Well, I have to move that. That just ain't gonna work. There we go. And you just start spinning it. Now you want to be careful. You don't want to take too much off because then you're going to be opening it up too much. I'm just going to show you this the one time because I don't want to have to keep going back and forth, but you can see the basic principle. Put it in there. Make sure the ring kind of looks lined up together and just spin it. I'll also take a file and go around it to make sure there's no bad spots, because I can feel right there's a hard spot in it. You know, maybe you don't need to, but let me get this set back up here. Hold on. Aha, there we go. Sorry, guys. But that's the basic principle behind file fitting rings. We stick it back in there, take the piston, we do it again. And it's a long, tedious process, but if you want high horsepower, you want to build a motor that is, you know, for boost or anything, you've got to do this. You've got to have that ring gap. And right there, we are, actually just a hair over. So we're probably about 22 to 23, which is, it'll work. So, and that's what I was talking about. You got to be careful with it. You can overdo it. It's not really that big of a deal. That ring will just be a hair looser. But like I said, we start with number 2. We'll go to number 1. And these rings are all marked. Top ring, second ring. Then you got your 3rd ring, which are your oil rings and everything. And we'll do the same thing on this, and you'll do it on every cylinder. So I'm only going to show you this cylinder, and then I'll speed it up a little bit because this is going to take a while, and you all do not want to sit here and watch that for that long of a time. Ooh, well, that one fits. So with that, this one is actually, yeah. So that ring is actually good. So what I'm gonna do next is grab a file. On the one we actually cut, so that's the top ring. I just take a file to it, more or less to make sure there's no burrs in it. So here it is, guys. So I actually have the bearing. Let me just go ahead and pull this out. I've got all the rings set up where I want them. They're in my ring compressor. And the bearing is already in. Now, something I didn't do was I did not put assembly lube on that. Make sure you put assembly lube on it. I gotta slow down a little bit. I'm trying to not make these videos last too long. And I might end up messing up, and I don't want that. So, there's 100 ways you can put the rings on. You can Google it. Most of the ring manufacturers make their own, how they want them orientated on the piston. I have my way of doing it. I'll let you decide how you want to do it on yours. But the new bearing's in. Rings are all set. Now what we're going to do is I am going to get my mallet and pop it in. Now, one thing I will tell you I do a lot, some people don't do. I put trans fluid in the cylinder. It's more or less just a thing for me. Some people don't do it. Some people do. So I like to put trans fluid in it. It works good. So as you can tell, the piston's in. Now what you have to do is guide your rod down onto your crankshaft. You do not want that freshly ground crankshaft to get damaged by a rod. It would not be fun. You'd be buying all new bearings and everything else. So now what we're gonna do is flip it. Very slowly. And there it is. So this piston is in. Everything looks good. I don't see any problems or anything like that. We'll take our main cap here. I'm gonna wipe everything down before I put the bearing in it. I'll get another bearing. And like I said, all the bearings are getting sprayed with brake clean. All the bearings are getting wiped down. If you go to Sam's or anything like that, if you have a Sam's or anything like that, you can buy these 6 packs of these shop towels. I highly recommend it when you're building engines. You have to watch though, they'll leave a little fluffy stuff on them every now and then. So you want to make sure that you don't leave a bunch of crud inside the motor from the paper towels. But that's what I use. Rags get dirty too quick. Where those paper towels, you can buy a bunch of them pretty cheap and just chuck them in the trash can. You don't have to worry about it. But we got our assembly lube on there. And I'll have to look up the torque spec on this, I'm not gonna lie. That's one thing that I don't remember the torque specs on all this stuff. You know, it's impossible for me to remember the torque specs on everything. There's too many torque specs. That could be backwards. I can't tell. Problem is I can never tell which way to put the thing. Hold on. Yeah, I think it goes like that. Yeah, it does. Whatever you do, make sure you put your caps on the right way because they are cracked caps. So with that, we will rotate the motor over, and as you can tell, I'm doing it by hand. So that's, you know, she's pretty good. This is later model rod bolts. The early model were 15 pounds and 60 degrees. Well, since these are the later model, they're 15 pounds and 75 degrees. Some people do 80, some of them do 81. I'm gonna do 75 like the book says and like everybody seems to say. So with that, we're gonna torque it. There we go. And I'm gonna change it over to 75 degrees. And there's different torque wrenches you can get for this. You know, I just happen to work at a dealer and have a snap-on guy, and you know, I like to have, I wanted a nice one. Oh, wait a minute. I did not switch over to put, oh guys, I'm gonna have to redo that. My torque wrench did not switch over to torque. So let me fix this real quick. I'll re-torque it down to 15 pounds. There we go. All right. There we go. There it is, 75 degrees. There we go, guys. Let me shut this thing off. Don't want to waste the batteries in it. But essentially, that's it, guys. I got one rod, one piston in. We're doing pretty good today. Hopefully we can have this motor back together completely today. Have a nice short block ready. I got, of course, 7 more to do. Like I said, it is a very time-consuming process. I don't want to mess up. I've already made a couple of small mistakes, so I'm trying to kind of rush it so these videos don't last too long. But with that, guys, I'm gonna kind of speed up this process and we'll go from there. But I'll let you know when I'm done. There ain't no point in you sitting here watching me do it. It'll take forever. So give me just a little bit and we'll come back and you'll see it completely pretty much assembled. So what's going on, everybody? Unfortunately, my video for ring filing messed up the other day. All my sound went out. I'm not really sure why. I don't know if it's because the battery was low or what. I might have to get some new batteries, I guess, because they keep dying quicker than I thought they should. But that's pretty much it. The ring filing, there's not a whole lot to it. There's a bunch of videos online, but the short block is completely together. Essentially, I do got to throw the timing chain on, which is no big deal. I also got this in, which is what I like to call, I don't know, I call it a dumbbell, but it's for your oil galley in the back. And basically you just shove it into the back and pretty much just make sure it's flush. Like that. And now she is in. And they come with a plastic one in them. I'm not a huge fan of the plastic one, so I just went ahead and ordered an aluminum one offline on a suggestion from a lot of people. So here's the part number that I used. It's off Amazon, it's real cheap, but it came in today, so I figured I'd go ahead and put it in before I forget. You're gonna be seeing this video probably after the cruise video. I know the cruise video wasn't the best. I plan on getting with the guy who's putting on all these cruises and maybe getting with him because he has a channel too and would like to film also. And we didn't really get that chance to do it because of the way the cars fell in and everything. So I'm gonna get with him and maybe me and him come up with a solution so we can both film. Plus I didn't know a lot of the people, so I was kind of, you know, it's one of those things I feel like we need to ask people before I start filming them. So, but I'm gonna try to get better at the whole cruising thing and filming. But if you want to see my buddy's channel, it's Enthusiast TV. He's slowly building up. He does a little bit of everything. So, but with that, guys, like, subscribe. Always something. Like, subscribe, and we'll keep making videos. I got more coming. I'm hoping to get more parts coming in soon. Unfortunately, I only have so much money, so I order as I acquire the money to be able to do it. But we're gonna hopefully get some more in soon. My radiator's almost done. As far as getting the fan shroud done with the big new fan, I'll be showing you that soon. So we got quite a few things coming. Just keep a lookout and you'll see it. So with that, guys, I appreciate it. Like, subscribe, and we'll keep doing this. Till next time.